In Texas, the state attorney general sends his office home. He sent his office home in celebration of today's ruling. The real work will start Monday enforcing the state's abortion ban, but district attorneys in Austin, Dallas, Houston, among others, say they will not prosecute doctors for performing abortions. And if prosecutors won't prosecute, police may not arrest. We are truly then in the Wild West of uncharted waters in the law. The man at the center of that, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, with me now. All right. What happens Monday when there's an abortion in Dallas or Austin or Houston and the district attorney there says not getting involved?
Well, first of all, we have to wait for it to go into effect. We have to wait for a final judgment from the Supreme Court. They have about 25 days to ask for a motion to rehear. I don't think that's going to happen. And then the law goes into effect another 30 days after that. So we're probably talking about 2 months. This is actually, though, a common problem in Texas that we're having more and more George Soros district attorneys get elected in some of these blue counties where they're not enforcing shoplifting laws, and they're just kind of picking and choosing which laws they want to follow. So the legislature's going to have to deal with this at some point. I have the opportunity to impose some of the civil penalties, and so the minimum penalty is $100,000, and it can go up to unlimited amount. So we will be pursuing the civil side of this. The legislature's going to have to decide what they're going to do with district attorneys as it relates to this issue and really almost every other issue, because local DAs are now becoming a law unto themselves in Texas, making their own decisions.
It's not just Texas that's having this issue. Obviously, it's California, it's New York, it's Illinois, it's Missouri. I'm thinking about Kim Gardner there. So you're not alone in having to deal with this. I'm interested. There's a lot of Texas-based companies. There's now dozens, if not hundreds of companies that say that they will pay as part of their medical benefits for people in Texas or in Missouri or anywhere else to go to another state for an abortion procedure. Dick's Sporting Goods, among them, said they'll pay $4,000 for someone who's covered by their insurance to travel along with a spouse or friend or anybody else to help them. Is that something that Texas is going to go after?
You know, we're going to look at it. It's actually, a new concept for us, these corporations deciding to pay for people to go get their abortions. And we're going to be looking at whether the language covers at least the civil side. And that's obviously what we can deal with. And so, these penalties could even be for corporations over $100,000 per violation. So we'll see. We're looking at that literally as we speak.
Fair enough. I'm sure you read Justice Thomas's concurrence where he said that there were a number of other of these issues, Griswold, Lawrence, and Obergefell, that he felt needs to be looked at again. Obviously, the Lawrence case came from Texas. That was what outlawed sodomy. Would you, as Attorney General, be comfortable defending a law that once again outlawed sodomy, that questioned Lawrence again, or Griswold, or gay marriage, that came from the state legislature to put to the test what Justice Thomas said?
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of issues here, but certainly the Supreme Court has stepped into issues that I don't think there was any constitutional provision dealing with. They were legislative issues. And this is one of those issues, and there may be more. So it would depend on the issue and depend on what state law it says at the time and what was overruled.
Just for the sake of time here, you wouldn't rule out that if the state legislature passed the exact same law that Lawrence overturned on sodomy, you wouldn't have any problem then defending that and taking that case back to the Supreme Court?
Yeah, look, my job is to defend state law, and I'll continue to do that. That is my job under the Constitution, and I'm certainly willing and able to do that.
Would you support the legislature bringing that test?
You know what? I don't know. I'd have to take a look at it. Like I said, this is all new territory for us. So I'd have to see kind of how the legislation was laid out and whether we thought we could defend it. That's ultimately, if it's constitutional, look, we're gonna go defend it.
Yeah. Real quick, how much of what's next do we understand right now from this in terms of the door that Clarence Thomas's concurrence opened and exactly what this allows states to outlaw?
Look, I don't think anyone knows yet. I mean, it's a new opinion. It's over 200 pages. We haven't even digested the 212 pages that we've been given. So certainly over the next coming days and weeks, we're going to be looking at what we think all of that means. and how that affects the state of Texas and how it'll affect the country in general.
All right. Mr. Attorney General, we always appreciate you being with us. Thank you for staying here on a Friday afternoon. We'll talk soon, sir.
Hey, thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.